Okay, guys, welcome back to the BMS podcast. It is your host, Odun Ayo. If this is your first time stopping by, don't forget to subscribe and like and share. I feel like I have a lot of explaining to do. This year has been a lot. The start of this year has been a lot. Um, Basically, I got a call one day from my workplace, or should I say my previous workplace, and they said to me that um, they were, what's the word? They were downsizing, um, and I had a choice or an opportunity to, whatever you call it, to stay or to leave. And if I decided to leave, I would be compensated. And they didn't say the exact amount at the time. I just got a call and they told me, I'll be compensated if I choose to leave. And then they sent me some paperwork to go after. Mind you, this is the job that I went straight into from graduating. So it was like I had been at the job for like 5 years, and I knew that my market value had like increased. I knew that I could have easily been making like two or three times my salary. So I was just told to think about it, and I think I had like 2 weeks to think about whether or not I had to take the offer or an offer and lose my job basically or be terminated, or I could stay with them. So because I knew that I was at the job because I was comfortable. It wasn't because it was. I mean, I did do some really good work there, and I enjoyed it. If you don't know, I'm a tech babe. So what I decided was to actually take the compensation and leave my old job. And what that meant was I was going to be jobless, but they were basically going to be paying me like half my yearly salary. I mean, yeah, my yearly salary at once. So I was like, you know what? I know that if I know I don't have a job, I'm going to be more proactive into looking for another job. And I have been in this job long enough, like way too long, 4 or 5 years as a graduate. You're supposed to be skipping to different jobs apparently to get like to increase your income. But I wasn't doing that. I was loyal to my job. And yeah, they said they were downsizing. So I took the offer and I decided to leave, and that's what you guys saw. And when I posted about me leaving my job, a lot of people were like, "Oh, what happened? This, that." Like you guys were thinking. Anyway, so let me just tell the story as it is. So I decided to just take the offer and start looking for jobs. And I before then had been getting like messages from recruiters talking about, we have this offer, we have this job. If you want to apply, which is cool. So I guess that gave me a little bit of confidence, and I was like, you know what, half I live in London, like where I live is expensive, but the amount of money they were giving me was enough to last me for the whole year, and this was in May, by the way. So I was like, if I take this offer, 2 months, take exams, like get more credentials, like worst case scenario, like if I don't get a job within those 2 months, either that or I decide to like go to Nigeria. I was like, if my money's running low and I haven't found a job, I'm going to Nigeria to like extend the value of the money, I guess. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to focus, put my head down and try to get a new job. So about 10 days later, I got a call from this guy, and he was like, "Oh, you must have been speaking to my colleague. Let's call the colleague France. Let's call the colleague. I'm thinking about this too much. Tank." He said, You must have spoken to Tank. He put you off for this role. And we were trying to see what day you had to interview. This was a Thursday, so I told him, oh, my availability was Monday or Tuesday to interview. But then, like, obviously, if it's a Thursday and I say I'm available on Monday or Tuesday, that it gives me time to prepare for the interview and practice all the questions they're possibly gonna ask me. So he's like, okay, well, can you actually interview today? I'm just like, no. I mean, I didn't say no, but I was like, I didn't want to interview that day because, like, how can you call me in the morning and ask me if I can interview at 4:30 in the afternoon? I was just panicking. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna say no to an interview, and I'm just going to do it anyway. So I sent an email. I was like, okay, can you send me the job description so I can prepare for the interview? And he's like, oh well, the colleague didn't really give him any details about the job description. He doesn't really have it. So Tank just is on holiday, so he can't get into his system or like find out the job description. I'm like, who is this Tank person? Like, I don't even know. I didn't remember the colleague calling me about anything. I just when I heard job, I said yes, it's me. So yeah, so he didn't have the job description. So what I had to do was like I asked him for his the full name of his colleague and or like the email address as well. So when I searched the email in my email folder, this job was I applied for this job on the 27th of December and it was viewed on the 3rd of Jan. So now this guy has basically viewed my profile since Jan and I'm getting called about it in May. 10 days after I signed my that I was going to leave my company with the settlement. So basically what happened was the call was set for like 15 minutes. So I attended the call and it was just like, oh yeah, you know, we just wanted to speak to you and see if you had any questions, because, you know, your profile matches exactly, you know, what we're looking for. So come to find out, I had worked for the client of the person that was employing me before. So I had previous experience with them. So they were just basically telling me that, you know, you have the job, we can start enrolling you. And I'm just like, huh? Like, I interviewed for just 15, it wasn't even an interview, for 15 minutes and I had the job. 10 days later, 10 days after I got paid my yearly, half my yearly salary to leave my previous job. Like, if I decided not to take that settlement offer, I would literally be handing in my resignation rather than taking money while I'm leaving. So it's like 10 days later, I have peace of mind. I have extra cash from my previous job, and this new job is basically like about times 3 of my previous job. So it's like, listen, the way God has, it's nothing short of a miracle. And you know, within those times I actually booked a lot of exams because I was like, I'm going to just study and just take as many exams as possible and get more confident in what I'm doing, and you know, apply for more like head of, you know, my departments, because those are the kind of roles I was getting offered, but I didn't feel confident to like head a whole department of my workplace. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Like, everybody will literally come to you for stuff. So yeah, eventually, you know, I signed my contract, I've given a start date. So that's been like the main thing that I've been getting up to. Another thing that I did was renovate my room. I'm gonna post about that as well. I went to a couple of concerts. Rema's concert, I went, Joe Boy, Beyonce. I was actually going to go to more, but I was just like, I had another exam that I had booked, so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on that and stop gallivanting. Anyway, so when I went to Rema's concert, my friend, she was mentioning to me, oh, like, why would you wear that to Rema's concert? This, that, you know, like your future husband. This is my friend, by the way, not even my mom. Anyway, she's like, yeah, like, why would you wear that? Like, I am loyal to a theme. Like, whatever the theme is, I'm loyal to that. Rema is like, he's a rave lord. I almost Taloma Lorema. So when Rema called concerts and it was a party concert type of vibe, I dressed accordingly. And like Joe Boy's concert too, what I was actually thinking was, my favorite album of his was something between Beauty and Magic, and what you think of is the beach. and my outfit was really giving beach, even though it's central London, the middle of central. So yeah, that's what I wore to that. And Beyonce's concert, cowboys or cowgirl, yes, I was wearing my outfit. Like, I had everything planned from like weeks before Beyonce's concert. I didn't even have my ticket yet, but I had my outfit ready. Like, I'm so loyal to a theme. I like to play with fabrics, you know, put things together, whatever works on my body. So it's like, for someone to start telling me, oh, like, what would your future husband think? Do you know my future husband? Neither do I. And then it's like, you're expecting me to live up to the standards of a man that I don't even know. The perceived standards of a man that I don't even like. If he's actually my future husband, he's probably naked or half naked on the beach somewhere. That's how I know that he's for me, because all this, because I don't see myself as someone that's like sexual or seductive. Like, half the time I'm just messing around, like I'm just goofing around. If people are sexually attracted to me, I can't control that, and I'm not going to live a certain way because of that. Like, I feel like a lot of women, they tend to like put their life on hold or live a certain way because they want to be perceived a certain way, especially by men. Like, there are literally women that would say they're not going to buy houses. Like, I remember I was telling a couple of my friends, oh, let's put money together on a property, and, you know, we can either rent it out, we can live there, but it would be our own. We can do like a tenants in common, whatever. I did a lot of research about it, and they were like, oh yeah, I don't know, like, I might get married, and you don't even have a boyfriend. Oh, any boyfriend, talk of fiance. You don't have a boyfriend, but you're like, you don't want to buy a house yet because, you know, you whatever, meet somebody. Like, bro, like, I'm 27. Like, this girl was older than me, and it's like, you don't want to advance in your life because you're waiting on this mystery or fairy tale of this man that's going to buy a house, or you're going to buy a house with. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And I just wish, like, there was this girl too that was talking about she got offered a job as a doctor, and the thing is, she studied medicine. You think doctors are smart. They offered her the role. She said she wants to put it, I think, defer it. No, she said she rejected it. She didn't even defer it till the year after. She said she was deferring it because she believes she's going to get married this year. I'm just like, do women actually know that when you're married, that's the end of the race? Like, I feel like it's almost like they get married, and it's like, that's a destination. Like, marriage is actually the beginning of something. And if you're choosing to start it, or like you're choosing to put a time or set a time on when you get married, like, I'm seeing a lot of posts talking about, oh, I got married last year, I'm getting a divorce this year. Like, oh, at the comedy show. Like, what are you guys actually doing? Like, if you actually that's it. And I don't understand, like, what the rush is. Like, my mom or my family has not even been on me about, because I'm 27, they really could be, but nobody's giving me any sort of pressure. Like, I just believe that my life is my own, and whether or not I get married, or like, I keep telling my friends, oh, I'm gonna freeze my eggs, or I might, you know, adopt, and they're like, oh, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. I would love to get married, I would, but I just feel like there is so much life to live, and I don't, like, I get marrying the right person obviously would be great, but there's just so much to get to being married that a lot of people do not take into consideration. Like, if you're talking about, you know, finances, joining somebody else's family, if their family likes you, if your family likes them, if your family and their family are clashing, you know, I don't know, it's just like living with somebody, their financial habits, their just environmental habits, like, just I don't understand why, like, people are in such a rush. I mean, I guess content is part of it. I guess some people want to have kids too, and those are things that I desire as well, but I'm not living my life for it. Like I'm not actively dating, but at the same time, I'm not declining dating. It's like I just when I finished uni, my thing was okay, I'm going to go. Actually, my final year of uni, I was like, okay, cool. Uni is coming to an end. The next step is to find somebody to get married to. I started dating seriously. I was dating seriously. I actually spoke to someone I had dated in the past. I mean, we didn't really date. We were basically like childhood friends. And we started dating and I met his family. We are talking about marriage, moving in together. Da, 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 da. I was moving really quickly because I'm like, okay, after uni, this is the next step. You marry. So I was like, okay, yes. If you're not talking to me about marriage, don't talk to me at all. So when I was speaking to this guy, and I was like, okay, cool, we'll get married. I was like, okay, cool, that's what I want. I'm about to finish uni. I have to find my husband. That's what I was looking for. So that crashed. It didn't work out. I crowed, and 2 or 3 months later, I was in another relationship. I was sort of like skeptical about this one. But then he was talking about marriage too. I met his family, they were teaching me their language. I was cooking for them. But it's like I was rushing up onto this point thinking about, okay, cool, this is the next step. Marriage, like I have to get married. I think I was 24 at the time. I'm like, okay, I have to get married. And I just feel like I kept going into relationships because like thinking like I have to get married or I need to get married at this point or like that's the next stage in my life. And I just feel like those relationships sort of set me back because I feel like with women, when you get into a relationship that is supposed to extend to like marriage or you're thinking of building your life with somebody, I feel like a lot of women tend to focus on what the partner wants, like what the man wants or how he wants to build his life. And they sort of merge their dreams into that man's dream or like in consideration of his. And I feel like I was doing that a lot. And I was also like, the house I got after uni, like everything was just in, okay, if I'm living with somebody, maybe they can move in here and it would be big enough. I was just planning my life, making choices or decisions of my life based off of who I was with at the time or who I thought I was going to get married to. And I just feel like it just held me back so much. And I just feel like now I just want to live my life like for myself. I don't want to worry about who is coming to marry me or whether or not I'm going to get married. If it's going to happen, it should happen when it happens, not because. And obviously there is a thing of like dating attention, and I feel like you should actually fall in love with somebody and date them before you think, okay, I can actually marry this person. But I feel like when you date seriously and you go into something thinking, okay, we're getting married, like I want to get married, like the marriage, it when you're searching from desperation, it's quite obvious. And I feel like that's when settling comes into place. And I understand that for some people it's about stability, like it's marriage has always been an institution that's never really, I guess it's only now becoming a thing where it has to be based on love because women don't really need men as much. But I just feel like women are, I mean a love match like Bridgerton, love matches have always been, the rare occasions. Like I feel like now a lot of people are still getting married for whatever reason that suits them. And the people I know that are married, I don't want it. So if it's not right, like if it's not making sense, I'm not thinking about a marriage or future husband. Like I'm not thinking about that. I just want to live my life for myself. Like, and I want to live my life, plan my life the way I want it to be, like see the vision or like know what I want my life to end up like, or to just see the vision for my life. And if somebody comes along and matches the vision I want for my life, if our visions for our lives align, then yes, we can talk about marriage. But I'm not trying to hear that shit right now. Like I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to live for that. I just feel like there's so much I want to do on my own. There's so much I want to accomplish, and that's just not on my list. A man's life is his life. Like no one ever conditions men or like make them feel like they have to do certain things to find a wife. And I just feel like even if you do change yourself or water yourself down to find a man, I don't think it would last personally, because your true colors, they always come out. Yeah. And even at the concert that I went out like that because I was with my brother. He even said that I was C blocking him. I mean, no, he was C blocking me. But I didn't care, because I'm not dressing out, or like I'm not going out like that to attract men. I was with my brother, that most people would think, oh, you know, when you're with an older brother that looks like you, I mean, that doesn't look like me, but is sibling that's around the same age bracket, people think that you guys are actually together. But yeah, I was with him. I wasn't getting I mean, obviously guys are staring at you, but it's like they see you with somebody and they just assume that you're with that person and they don't bother you. So it's like, I knew I was going out with my brother. I knew I wasn't going to get bothered by boys. So yeah, it is whatever at the end of the day. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was people discussing microaggression in the workplace, or like, I guess, black people thinking that, they just want to be quiet at work and just do their job. And I understand, like, feeling like you're representing your whole race when you're working, or sometimes your whole gender. I work in tech. Sometimes I'm the only woman, and I'm probably the only black person sometimes in my job. And I understand that, like, feeling like, you don't want to say anything, or you're afraid of saying something wrong, or you just don't want to engage. I got flagged for this when I started working. I was like, oh, I don't add my inputs into work. Like, I don't give my opinions, I don't say much, I don't do much. And I feel like when you've come from like an African, I wouldn't even say it's more to do with my household, I would say it's more to do with being in college. I was the only girl as well, and being in uni, like, just not being able to fully express yourself, or expressing yourself and getting dismissed. I think throughout that time, I just got used to it. I just got used to, like, because I remember doing coursework with three boys on the same group, and it was a business coursework, and I'll literally write my portion of it. They would delete everything that I write in the coursework and submit. They basically deleted everything and they submitted it. So there was none of my input in that work, and they failed. I wouldn't say I failed or we failed. They failed because they basically did everything wrong, and they didn't listen to me when I told them what they were doing was wrong. So I guess that level of conditioning had just made me to feel like, my opinion was not going to be listened to anyway. So there was no point speaking, or like, you just don't want to get into that space where, like, you say something. I thought it was a trick. Like, when people say, oh, men would repeat what you say just louder and they'll get praised for it. But it's happened to me like multiple times. But I feel like if you want to advance in your career, especially as a black person, you need to get to understand small talk, like corporate talk, like just catching up with people. And I understand that you don't want to be personal, but you don't have to be personal. You need to know how to ask those like random questions, like, oh, talk about the weather, ask people what they're doing on the weekends. You can even lie, because they're not going to know. Who's going to know that my husband and my kids are not in Palmer Beach somewhere having a holiday? No one's going to know. And every new workplace that you have, you can make up new stories about what you did on your weekend. They don't have to know. But I just feel like you need to share some stuff, and you need to be more you need to be more involved with your co-workers. Because think of it like this: if you want to become a manager, for example, or like lead a team, and you don't understand that, somebody in your team is a mom, or somebody in your team has a disabled partner, or like they just need extra support. If you don't find out about their lives, they might not be comfortable enough to tell you. And a lot of time when you're leading is is more so to do with, as much as there's project management and in leadership, there's also understanding the people that you're working with, understanding their strengths, their weaknesses. And if you don't engage with your co-workers, how would they know that you're in a strong enough position to actually lead them? Like, if you don't have empathy, if you're not interested in talking to them, how would you then be seen as a leader if you can't even engage with the people that you're supposed to be leading? So it's like, if you want to progress in your career, you need to get comfortable speaking to people about random things, about anything, just understanding the culture of your workplace and getting involved. Because you can't then say that, oh, you didn't get promotion or you didn't get this, if you're not involved with your colleagues, if you don't know what's going on with them, or like if you're not even interested, if you're always quiet. You might have a good opinion or you might have a good input, but then you can always share it, like in your in your meetings. I had to learn to do that and put aside everything that's happened to me in the past and just put that aside. Like, I was getting basically harassed by one of my tutors in college, and this is in the UK. He was actually Yoruba. He started talking about my bum, he started talking about my body, and he would tell me, like, my tutor in college would tell me, oh, you should probably go and study to be a tailor or a hairdresser because you don't, there's no space for you in tech. So he would tell me stuff like that. So of course, when I start working corporately, I'm quiet. Like, I'm not as expressive because I feel like a lot of people there just believe I'm not supposed to be there, and I don't want to draw any attention to myself. But then if you keep thinking like that, if you keep thinking you don't want to draw attention, you just want to do your work and go home, then there's no room for you to grow. You need to, it could even be like encouraging your teammates. If you don't want to talk about yourself, oh, the work you did there was really good, like bravo, or like, you know, thank you for the work that you just did, or just like, you know, being emotionally present at your workplace. If it's not draining, I can understand if it's draining, fair enough, but I just feel like if you want to show leadership at your workplace, if you want to be proactive, you need to be able to, like, because I'm even speaking because this is a benefit to me as well. Like, the new job I got it because of I had worked with the client in the past. If I did a bad job, or if I wasn't as expressive, or if I didn't engage, they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, come and work with us again. So it's like, yeah, you might never see these people again, or you might see them again. I just feel like you just need to be more involved in your workplace. And I guess in a way it sort of gives you opportunity to see where they're missing something, where they're lacking something, how you can involve yourself in it. And naturally also you need to document every input that you make. Like, if you say something in a meeting, the value that you added in that meeting, write it down. If you give like an input about something, if you notice something that needs to be worked on, if you give a solution, write it down. And yeah, so just be more proactive talking to your teammates. Like, what people don't bite. They might. Obviously, be careful, but just be more engaged. You don't have to disclose things about yourself, but just, you know, engage with them, ask them about their family. And I feel like a lot of co-workers, that's their only social network. Some of them don't have friends. Like, you might be the only person, and it's obviously not your responsibility, but it wouldn't take nothing to just ask about how their day is, how their weekend was. Sometimes I ask and I zone out, but it's like, you know, just pick things here and there that you can bounce off of, have a conversation. Like, if you don't want to talk about, I don't like talking about myself at work, but then I ask them about themselves. I ask more questions and more questions and more questions. They might not even realize that they don't know me, but I've asked them, I've distracted them, and I've had a good conversation with them based off of their interests. That, you know, I'm still engaged, I'm still involved. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you're just over there and you just don't want to talk to anybody and just by yourself. You need to get involved in your workplace. You need to know what the company is working on, like what solutions they're looking for, so you can find a way to add value. And you need to show like some sort of interest in your co-workers as well. If you're looking for a leadership, if you don't want to lead them, if you don't want to manage them, that's fine. But if you're looking to be a leader or someone that's in a position of power in your workplace, you need to get to know your colleagues. The likability factor as well. If there is like a ranking system or voting system, whatever the case may be, I just feel like it's important for you to just show up and be present at work, not just do your work and go home. That's for people that you don't really care about the job. You don't want to advance in your career. If you want to advance in your career, you need to be able to make impact, like physically, emotionally, just some way. It's not your job to, your job description is not telling your colleague that he did a good job, but that would be noticed. It would improve your likability. It would give you higher chances when there's recommendations, for example, and then it would also give you like just more visibility. Just because sometimes the hardest workers, or like the smartest workers, just are seen working. Those people that will come into the office and they're just walking around like they're busy, or they're serious, or they have something to do. They might not be doing anything, but they're seen as hard workers, even though you probably work better than them. So as much as it's important to work hard, it's important to be seen working hard and be impactful, and recording your work, making sure people know, and also appreciating the good work that other people have done. So yeah, I think that's the main thing that I want to talk about today. I'm not gonna make any promises on my delivery, but oh shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna make any promises on my delivery, but it was nice to chat to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you in my next episode. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share. Peace out. Checking out. Love you. Bye.